Hello, everyone. This is AJ.
I'm Mike.
I'm Jay.
And your old pal Shane.
And this is the Eternia FOUR. Topic number one. It's September 2025, and once again, Toy World magazine has partnered with Mattel, producing a supplement to their magazine that brings all of their readers the latest news on Mattel's hottest brands, including Barbie, Hot Wheels, and you guessed it, Masters of the Universe. And this year, Masters of the Universe was on the top of the list, thanks to the upcoming big-budget juggernaut of a motion picture, Masters of the Universe, due out in cinemas a mere 9 months from now. And among the slate of content and goodies listed in that supplement that Mattel will be bringing fans to hype their new He-Man film, including movie-themed action figures and play sets, art books, illustrated origin stories, and fashion, is a brand new animated series. Wow. Trumpeted as an animated prequel series to the movie, what do you think of this very exciting news regarding this brand new animated prequel series? And what would you like to see featured in it? And I'm going to pass it off to old Shaner.
All right, boys. I have some mixed feelings about this, not gonna lie. What? As you know, a Motu fan, like obviously I am all for all the content, all the toys, all the things that we could possibly get our eyeballs on, our hands on, our ears on, etc. So I am excited to kind of see what they do. It's hard for me to know what I want featured in it without having seen the movie, and we're going to get into some topics, or at least a topic later today that kind of gets into what the tone of the movie could be. So I don't know how to answer that part of it. It is bittersweet for me. I can tell you that it is not Masters of the Universe Revelation or Revolution continuation in any part. So this will be wholly new. I am curious to see how it looks, what the animation style is, how long these episodes are going to be. Is it going to be, this sort of harder nod to the 80s cartoon that bridges the gap between this modern movie that we're getting? Is it going to lean into the modern and feel like, a more adult Motu Revolution sort of deal? I'm not sure. I wish we were making it. I will be honest with you. I am excited about it, albeit, I am a little sad. But again, I think that more Motu is more better, kind of across the board, and whatever is going to help continue the fandom into hopefully new generations, I'm all for it. So if they can figure out a way to sort of pull in the kiddos while keeping, the people like us engaged, I think that it will be a success, and I will be very happy for them. I am really curious to see what some certain websites have to say about this one after they had some things to say about our show, but neither here nor there. I am curious. I am excited. And really, really most, I guess, what I'm interested in is see how they tie it into the movie. I am going to go right back to AJ.
Wow. Wasn't prepared for that. All right. So I see this new television series as two sides of a coin, right? A good side and a scary side. Now, the good side is just the existence of the show itself, right? It's a new series. It's a new Masters of the Universe series. How cool is that? I mean, yes, I also want a third entry to the Masters of the Universe Revelation trilogy, but still, I'm excited to get new Masters of the Universe animation. So that's the good side. You know what? That's the great side. But there's also a flip side to that coin, and it's a scary side. To me, this is ballsy. This is ballsy. What I'm saying is, this better be good. And what I'm really saying is, I don't want a Masters of the Universe Revelation situation again. And let me explain. Everyone knows, Shane knows, I love Masters of the Universe Revelation. I love Masters of the Universe Revolution. I love Masters of the Universe Revelation actually better than Revolution. I'm actually against the grain. I think the majority prefer Revolution. But so when that first part came out, the ratings were big. The ratings were huge. Everyone was excited about a new Masters of the Universe television series. However, there were a lot of people, unlike me, that didn't like that series, was strongly against the series, and created a lot of bad word of mouth. And yeah, it was pretty rough. So much so that when part 2 of Masters of the Universe Revelation came out, the ratings were nowhere as good. And when Masters of the Universe Revolution came out, which most feel it was a course correction. Like I said, I prefer Revelation, but a lot of people feel like this was the best thing ever. And some people even see it as a course correction. I don't, but regardless, not enough eyes were on Masters of the Universe Revolution either. I love Kevin Smith to death. I know Kevin Smith once said that even like negative hype is good hype. It really isn't. And so what I'm concerned here is it better be good, because I would hate for a prequel series to the movie to come out and not be very good. And so much so that it pisses off some of the fan base. They rally against it. And what does it mean? Less butts in the theater to see the actual movie. That's what I'm nervous about. And even if the movie was like 10 times better than the cartoon, like the cartoon had problems, everyone hated it, but the movie was great, it still can make the movie suffer. And that is my biggest fear with this. So, like I said, it's ballsy, but it better be good. In regards to how a prequel animated series for this upcoming film would work, I'm not sure. I mean, we're already getting a young Adam and young Tila. They were casted. They're in the movie. And they're like around 8, 9, 10 years old. So I really don't think a prequel series, if it's a prequel to this movie, is going to actually feature He-Man and Tila, or Prince Adam and Tila. So what's it going to revolve around? Maybe it revolves around Queen Marlena and King Randor and how they met, And maybe we get, how cool would this be? Maybe we get to see Marlena on Earth with her family, right? And we get to see her, as an astronaut before she goes off to Eternia. And maybe, just maybe, the family we meet on Earth is the same family that houses Nicholas Galitzine, Prince Adam, in the movie as a child when, the synopsis says that Prince Adam is sent to Earth for his own safety. So that would be very cool. And I would also like maybe an origin of Skeletor, right? I mean, I don't know if they're doing the Keldor thing. I don't know if they're doing the Keldor thing in the movie. But if not, it'd be really interesting to see Randor and Keldor on, some adventures together before the actual split. And you know what? If it's possible, because there might be a deal struck, and I think in topic 2 might get there. It's possible we might see the twins. We see that in the movie, we have an 8-year-old, 10-year-old Adam, 10-year-old Tila, but maybe, just maybe, in this prequel cartoon series, we see the twins, and one of them is abducted. Baby Dora is abducted by the Horde, and that would be really cool too. So, boy, would I love, any of these topics, for a prequel series. Like I said, it just better be good. And one thing I'll caveat is apparently this was announced too soon, because not long after, a couple hours afterwards, This actual TV show was removed from the supplement. They made it look like it never happened, and this is not among the list of the way Mattel is promoting this film. So I think they wanted to save this prequel series for a big splash announcement. Who knows? Maybe with a reveal trailer. It wasn't supposed to come out this way, I think. So I think we'll get that at some point. But okay, so those are my thoughts. And now I'm going to pass it off to Mikey.
All right. So just to kind of piggyback on you, AJ, in my head, I played it out that the prequel series would come out after the movie. So once the movie hopefully had success, then we see the prequel come out after, like later in the year. I would be shocked. I mean, maybe they have it all put together, ready to go. But I mean, you said it yourself, 9 months, right? Which that's crazy to think it's so close. 9 months. That's, some kid being conceived right now will be born at the movie. But yeah, like I always saw it as this cartoon may not even happen if the movie doesn't perform well. That could be the reason why they pulled it, like you had just mentioned, from the playbook. That the fact that, well, maybe if this movie doesn't perform that well, we don't want to really commit to that. So yeah, that was kind of, I wanted to lead in with that. With that being said, what I would love to see is them to go back. And I know, there's love for Revolution and Revelation, but Filmation is where the 80s fans' hearts is. If they can make it very Filmation-esque, if they can bring back that Saban Levy kind of musical tone to it, which they did with the little title scene there, right? It had that vintage Filmation-esque music, then you're going to pull on everybody's heartstrings, and I can see it being a success. Everything you said, AJ and Shane, would love to see is the origin stories. Would love to see Randor and Keldor together, working together. Maybe you throw in a little Dolph as a King Grayskull in his younger years. That would be sweet. I mean, the possibilities honestly are endless. You can pull origins of the Beastman, and maybe him and his tribe fighting, and how he became a henchman of Skeletor, or even Keldor before he became Skeletor. There's so many avenues you can go. But that would probably be the biggest thing. Concern that it does have and I hate to use the word, the wokeness behind it, right? The hate from that whole part of the fandom that's like, oh, you're changing too much. Yeah, as Shane said, there's certain websites that just will dig their claws into this and really just put a bad word of mouth out there about it when you're going too far from the source material. So that would probably be my biggest concern. But again, I mean, if you get to that Filmation style, you get it in that, I'm telling you, that music for some reason just hits. And, I no offense to Bears music. I love Bears as well. But that's something about pulling on those heartstrings, that nostalgia. And I think that's what they're going for with this movie anyway. So if they do that with the cartoon, we're there. So that would be my thoughts. We'll finish it up with Jay.
Leave some for the rest of us, guys. No, I'm just kidding. So I'm very much aligned with all you guys. I'm very excited for a new animated series. I think any of us would be excited for a new animated series. I think that just like AJ and of course Shane, all of us really, I was a huge supporter of Revelations. So much to the point where, I did a reaction to it. I've done many things, and I really did appreciate everything that was put into Revelation. I was shocked, even in my initial review of how Teela reacted in the first episode. But upon reflection, I really did realize that you can't really have a show where nothing happens at the first episode, and what do, right? So obviously everything had to move really quickly, and I was really happy with the way the show was directed and run, and there were a lot of shocking moments, and at the end of the day, they tied in so nicely, leading into the next series. When I heard that the second series was coming out, I was ecstatic, and it really did hit all the expectations, even as a shortened series. And I thought, great, now we can probably look forward to a third series. Sadly, that still hasn't come to pass, but my hopes are still high that something can come to pass. The movie, of course, I have my reservations about it. I still have my reservations about it. Earth, to me, is still why. And I still fall back on that old trope that Hollywood has to rely on the Earth connection for children's films or young people's films. So it will remain to be seen how they solve that little puzzle, because whenever you do that, whenever you connect Earth to any sort of film, I mean, Dragon Ball Z, even the original Master Universe film suffered because of that. It still is one of my favorite films of all time for a children's film. And I think Gary Goddard did whatever he could with it. And I think he did a great job, personally, right? People, you can fight me on this. It's okay. I'm happy to go to the street. We'll do it. But having said that, it's interesting timing. And the reality is we don't know yet, because as Shane mentioned, it did get put out in an early addendum, right? An extra, really, for Toy World magazine, and then very subsequently afterwards, it was quietly removed. So there seems to be some sort of disconnect, or Mattel really wants a big hoopla around this, which is great, right? That's the way it's supposed to be. But it could also easily be that it actually did not make it through, the channels, and maybe it's not going to happen. I hope that that's not the case. I hope we do get a brand new animated series, and I am looking forward to it. Now, it would be great to see how creative they get, because one of the best things I really enjoyed about Revelations was that we saw Preternia. We did see Eternia, actually. And the afterlife. I thought that was a really neat, plot point, right? I thought that it was really cool to see all of the heroes of the past. You know what I mean? All of the He-Men prior, right? The He-People prior. I thought that was amazing. I thought that, this sets up a mythos that has never been told before, or a mythos that was hinted at, but never actually fully developed. And I think that is another pathway to what we could see in this new series. I would be so excited, because one of the few leaks that has happened is we see a history of Eternia on the floor of Grayskull. We actually see the history, the historical progression of Eternia, Preternia, and everything that came before it. So it would be really cool to see maybe the fact that Eternia is a world of war, right? That it's been going through trials and tribulations and growth and magic, right? And as the Revelation series hinted at, right? Eternia is the center of magic. Eternia is the beginning of magic, and it'd be really cool to see how that actually came about, and why that's so connected to the world, right? And I'm really not so much interested in seeing, although we would the thread that you pulled on there, AJ, about how maybe Marlena made the wish, right? Maybe she said she prayed to the sorceress and said, send them to my family, right? They will protect him. I think that's awesome. I think that's really neat. And again, it's interesting that in the current credits, I don't know if they changed it already, but the credits actually name Fisto with two different names. He has a Terran name, and he has a you'll have to excuse the sorry about that, but he has a Terran name, and he has a an Eternian name, right? So I think that is fascinating. So it could be that he wasn't sent alone, right? Or maybe someone chased after him. We'll see how that plays out. But what really I'm hoping for is just a really good story to set up the events that happen in the movie. But it really would be cool to see the past, the true past of Eternia, setting everything up and really giving a mythos around this. And yeah, I'm just overall excited at the overall premise of an actual animated series. It's unfortunate that it's not continuing with Revolution, and I don't know what you guys were going to call it, Shane, for the next one, but it would have been some other R, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
But,
Rebellion.
yeah, it would have been something, right? But it would have been a lot of fun, regardless. And
Redemption.
Redemption would have been cool. Yeah, Redemption would have been cool.
Redemption.
And I would have been jumping for joy to see, what happens and how Keldor comes back, and maybe the Horde, what's it called, Despera, right? It would have been a great way to set everything up. So anyway,
I have a few things of interest that as you guys were talking. First of all, AJ, like going all the way back would be awesome. One of the fun parts of the Motu shows that I got to work on was doing characters that had never been animated before. And if I could ask for anything, it would be seeing more characters that had never been animated before. But seeing like Titus or something like that come in, just really getting into like the nitty gritty would be really, really cool. And then the other thing that I wanted to say is, while I do fear AJ is going to be right, and this is going to have to explain some of the Earth stuff, that's my biggest fear. It would be really cool, 8 episodes or however many they get, to do just some backstory episodes. I think that would be a fun way to do it as well.
Yeah, I think so too. Mike, I like your Filmation idea, Yeah. And I do think something's happened with the rights where, we'll get into that more, but like the trailer, we saw the logo reveal trailer, that music is owned by DreamWorks, that Filmation tune that was incorporated in that reveal trailer. Yeah. So I think some sort of deal has been made. That would be my assessment.
Sony Marvel get along gang going on there.
Yeah. So I would love that, because we saw the X-Men series, how they brought back the X-Men 90 series, and that would be really neat. People would go crazy. 9 months, they did mention that they were working on an animated cartoon in San Diego Comic-Con 2024. Rob mentioned they were working on something animated, but it wasn't necessarily tied to Revelation and Revolution. So they wouldn't have started it this soon. So if they were saying it was already in the works, then there will be enough time before the movie. If they want it before the movie, I don't know, or unless that was something else that Rob David was talking about. I think we did an article about that on He-Mania.com. And streaming, guys, it might not even be on a streaming service. These could be like little shorts on YouTube, 5-minute shorts that they do 10 different episodes and they catch people up, and it's not as huge and magnificent as we're anticipating.
Is that what they were doing with the Power Rangers now or something, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. Yeah. So it could be something smaller and less significant, right? So, and less impacting if it's not very good.
Topic 2. After years and years of waiting, Masters of the Universe fans and video game aficionados have finally received the news they've been longing for. There is finally a brand new He-Man video game coming to both gaming consoles and PC. It's called He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, Dragon Pearl of Destruction. Developed by Bitmap Bureau and published by Limited Run Games, this hard-hitting beat-em-up 2D arcade-style game allows 2 players to fight side by side, protect the world of Eternia from the evil forces of Skeletor. So, what's your reaction to this new video game news, the release trailer that dropped, and do you plan on playing He-Man and the Masters Universe, Dragon Pearl of Destruction? We're going to lead this one off. Let's go to AJ.
Okay. So First, I'm pissed. I am pissed. Why? Because now I have to sell off some of my collection to get a PS5. Yes, confession to everyone. I am a PS4 owner. That is my next gen console. And right now, the game that I'm currently playing is the brand new hot game called Batman Arkham Knight. Yeah, that's like 10 years old. The reason for this is I don't have much time to play video games, you know?
That is a great game, though.
It is a great game. You get to do the Batmobile in this one. I'm loving it. But unfortunately, I just don't have time to play video games. I really love playing video games, but between family and work and He-Mania.com, which requires a lot of my time, I don't really have much room. But I will upgrade for this game because this game is Filmation inspired. You know, I think I've mentioned before, I think I even talked to Mike or something. I hated the name, right? I hated the name because it's so freaking long and it takes a long time to say, and it takes a long time to put in an article, right? He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, Dragon Pearl of Destruction. But you know what, guys? It's not Masters of the Universe. It's He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. And I really want to focus on that because, again, I think they have struck a deal because this game, it's Filmation inspired. Go further than that, it's Filmation assets. You know, not only did they have the Filmation tune in the trailer reveal for the movie, but this game is Filmation assets. They use Filmation character models, a Filmation Orko, a Filmation Castle Grayskull during the transformation sequence, a Filmation Cowering Cringer. That is the Filmation Cringer, you know? Filmation Granomir. It's not the green mini comic Granomir, ladies and gentlemen. It's the red one. And what else? Filmation Shadow Beasts. They're purple. Those are the Filmation Shadow Beasts. And even like Filmation deep dives like the Torg. So this is Filmation heaven. It's heaven for a Filmation fan like me. It's a Filmation, can I say this? It's a Filmation wet dream. That's what it is.
Filmation orgy. It's a Filmation orgy. Go ahead and say it. It's okay.
Yeah, here comes YouTube AI. Please don't. Not anymore. I'll have to censor this out. So I don't know if you guys can tell. I'm very excited about it. Now, the gameplay, all right. You know, I mean, it's a Golden Axe clone, right? You know, you see the area effects when they cast spells, or, you know, He-Man does the power effect. It looks like Golden Axe. It feels like a rip. You know what feels like a rip? When Tila does that gesture and calls Granomir the dragon in, you know, and the dragon comes in just like the Golden Axe dragon, almost like a ride. It doesn't look like a real creature. It just kind of comes in and starts sweeping, and then off it goes, you know. But I'm okay with that. You know, Golden Axe is a fun game, you know. I mean, look, I'm playing Arkham Knight right now, right? Do I wish our Motu game was like an open world game? Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. But, geez, my head would explode if we got something like that. But beggars can't be choosers. So I'm really liking this game. I still wish it was 4 players instead of 2. So the Eternia FOUR could maybe play once together. How fun would that be? But otherwise, I'm still excited. And Zor help me if they come out with a more expensive, like special edition, collector's edition, maybe packed in with figures, and you know, how am I going to say no to that? How are any of us going to say no to that? Please don't do that limited run. We're weak. But otherwise, I'm really looking forward to it. All right. That's it. That's all I got to say. I'm going to pass it off to Jay.
I want a special edition pack. Screw you, AJ. I know that Mattel, it's a freaking toy company. They're gonna make a freaking special edition toy, and it's gonna be glorious, or it's gonna be crap. But anyway, I need that special edition because the last release that they did for TMNT in this same style, like Playmates just dropped, a special edition Shredder or something like that, and it was cheap, it was stupid, it was dumb. But you know what? People bought it anyway, and I want an action figure. I want another action figure. Screw it. It's going to be expensive, though. It's going to be freaking hugely, stupidly expensive, but I'm getting it. I'm having it. I'm excited. I am very, very excited. Many of the things that AJ touched on, Filmation heavy, Filmation orgy, Filmation freaking smorgasbord. I love it. It's so great. You can beat me out if you want, Shane. It's okay. You can just download a beep little thing if you want. Yeah, man, it hits all the notes that I wanted it to hit. I don't care that it is inspired by a Golden Axe. I love that, actually, because again, it's an '80s property. It bleeds '80s, and I love that. I love that idea. But original ideas are in there, like totally original ideas. Like I really love what in the few gameplay trailers that we've seen. I love the fact that Evelyn turns into a freaking fireball, much as she did in the Filmation series, but uses it as an actual attack. I love that. You know what I mean? I love the Shadow Beasts. I love the Orc army, right? From the other dimension, which Skeletor is in league with. I love these little nods, and of course, I freaking love the fact that Grandemir and Orko freaking come down after being called and come to the rescue of the Masters Universe. I love that. I really do. The pixel style, yeah, it's dated, but you know what? It's got that nostalgic feel, and kids love it. You know what I mean? Especially if you don't have to buy a PS5, AJ. You can buy a DS. You know what I mean? Try something different. Try something that you can casually play or hook it up to your TV or whatever. Why not? You don't have to.
Hopefully, it has crossplay. Hopefully.
That'll be. I believe it does. I believe that the networks are probably gonna. I think. I don't know for sure, but the thing is that you're right. One thing that absolutely has to happen is they have to make an expansion if they're not working on it already for a 4-player mode. Because Turtles has a 4-player mode. Why the heck does this not have a 4-player mode? This is the whole reason why co-op mode is so important with these beat 'em ups. You need that widescreen mode. You need to be able to utilize all that real estate. So if it's not in the first release, I'm pretty sure there's an expansion set for another $12 or whatever the heck it is. Absolutely, the Eternia 4 are going to freaking throw down and challenge anybody out there to a battle for sure. Once it happens, one of us is going to be the sorceress, one of us is going to be Tila, another one of us is going to be She-Ra, because She-Ra was actually spotted, as a playable character at the games convention in Germany. So yeah, man. So you know what? There are a lot of characters we have, and you know what? You know what we really need to do? We need to. If you guys played the TMNT Revenge of Shredder? Have you guys actually tried it out at all? Nobody. Shane, come on.
Yeah,
Shane's tried it. See,
yeah.
The old fogies up here. They don't know what they're missing. There is a story mode, an expansive story mode. You actually have to unlock areas in order to get there, and you can even do branching paths in the TMNT Revenge of Shredder. I would love if they had a villain arc, and that's something that I'm hoping that will happen in TMNT. That there will actually be, Shredder's Little Adventure. I think that is something that, in terms of the season pass, I think that would be the next season's pass. That they can really expand on that, and we actually see, we take the journey of Skeletor trying to get the Dragon Pearl of Destruction. See it from the opposite side of the angle. I think that that's absolutely insane. And as I said, 2026 is the year of Master Universe. It's time to celebrate. It's time to really get excited. And I'm hoping that Limited Run Games sets up a small arcade at maybe a small He-Man convention that might show up in California. I don't know. Just putting it out there. It might be a good idea. Shane, what are your thoughts, my friend?
Well, thanks for throwing me that bomb. That's going to be a hard one to follow. Anyways, listen, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Am I stoked? I am stoked on this, boys. I am super stoked. I almost cussed. Going to make you bleep all the things. Do I plan on playing it? 1,000% plan on playing it. Over the weekend, I went to my best friend's house and played TMNT Arcade with my 9-year-old nephew. Shout out Henley. And he loves it. It's so much fun. And as I said about the new animated show, like, I'm all about whatever gets younger people into this particular property in hopes that it, doesn't die out with us dinosaurs, right? I want this thing to keep going forever. So not only will I play it alone, I will jump at the chance to play it with any and all of my nieces and nephews. I am very, very excited. The filmation aspect of it, I think, looks awesome. The animation to the game kind of reminds me of like Marvel versus Capcom back in the day. It has this really juicy, fluid animation style that looks really, really nice. So yeah, I think it looks beautiful. I'm excited about it, and I will absolutely be playing it. And I would be shocked if Mike says anything differently.
I hate this game.
I will not be saying anything different. You hit that on the head. The filmation aspect of it, seeing Chakotay on there, seeing Gradomir on there was like, what? They're in it? It was such a shocker. Absolutely loved it. I'm definitely getting the game. Luckily, gifted my wife a Switch, and it will be available for Switch. So I'll be tugging back and forth. Luckily, she doesn't play it too often now, but we're gonna have to be fighting for time playing with Switch because I'll be for sure getting that game. I did kind of, while you guys were talking, I was looking up because when this was first announced, I actually was like, thought for a second it wasn't. And Jay is familiar with this game. There was a game that came out. And I don't know, AJ, if you can kind of like show pictures of this when it comes out, but I found this online. There was a full-on filmation, like these guys jumped off the cartoon and now they're in a game. It's available for download on PC for free.
It's unofficial.
It's fun.
It's unofficial, though. It's unofficial.
It's unofficial. Yeah. It was a fan-made. Correct. Yes, fan-made. But it was fun. It's very limited. The same kind of style where it's a beat 'em up, but it definitely reminded me of that when I saw this, but taken to the next level for sure. And I'm very, very excited for it.
I think so too.
Did they give a release date? No release date.
Unfortunately, they have these. I think it's still under development. To be honest with you, I think that they wanted to see the reaction from fans, and I think that, in my opinion, I think that they're gauging the interest, and they have a Steam listing, and I think that they might have an early beta, coming up maybe. But I really would like a setup at a convention somewhere in California next year. I would love to see
around May,
maybe around May, April, late April, May. Not hinting at anything particular, but I would love to see I would love to somehow invite limited run games to actually have a booth and set up a couple of systems or just put it in the hallway. You know what? And let's just let people freaking try it out, man. Like this is the time. We are at the precipice of the new golden age of Master Universe. Yep. And for one glorious year, it's going to be crazy, I think.
Agreed.
I will say real quick, just to end this one, Jay, you mentioned, I think both AJ and Jay mentioned maybe a special edition figure or something like that. The NECA did a Turtles in Time run that I thought was pretty decent. So if we could get something of that quality, I'd be all right.
Yeah, I love the NECA Turtles in Time, the pixelated edition, super hyper colors, saturated colors.
Yeah,
they were a lot of fun. All right, guys. Rob Liefeld is at it again. He's in the news, and this time he may be critiquing the upcoming Motu movie. Rob Liefeld is a comic book creator, best known, infamously, for creating the Marvel character Cable and Deadpool. Actually, that is under dispute, just so everybody knows. Often vocal about pop culture products and properties he's not involved with, Rob took to social media several days ago to discuss some believe is the new Master Universe movie. He said, quote, "I'm telling you, There's a non-Marvel DC, non-sequel IP movie releasing next year that is at direct odds with his fan base. I read the script, and the fan base wants a straightforward version, but it's getting a good comedy. What? We'll be interested in how they adjust based on test screenings. What the hell, Rob? So if Rob is indeed talking about the Master Universe movie, what are your thoughts about his thoughts? What? Rob, keep drawing, man. Keep drawing. I'm gonna toss this to Mikey. Mike, what do you think about Rob Leifeld?
I mean, it's worrisome a little bit. I mean, he's like, no. Look, he's been in the industry, right? He's read stuff. And he's obviously a little bit older than us, but he knows the Motu lore, I would imagine. And when you're saying that you're stretching, and again, we don't 100% know that he's talking about. He could be talking about Voltron. He could be talking about some other IP. But it's fair to say, fairly confident that he is talking about Motu. And when he's saying good comedy, it's a little concerning. Now, will we see action comedy? Will we see like Thor Ragnarok? If it's like that, I will have no issues with the movie. I thought that was a perfect blend of comedy and action. So when it comes to that, that's what I'm hoping for. And I know Rob is kind of notorious for being a quote unquote hater. So I'm hoping to chalk it up to that. But when you hear that kind of stuff, I will say personally for me as a fan, it was a little bit worrisome. But I'm gonna take it with a grain of salt and still have high hopes. I have not changed my position on the feelings of the movie. Of course, I'm gonna keep my opinion until I see it myself. Even when I see a trailer, I will be like, "Oh, I haven't seen the whole movie yet," so I will maintain that level of positivity and optimism for this movie because that's ultimately what I want to see. It's kind of where I'm at with it. Let's pass it down to Shane. Shane, what do you think?
All right, gentlemen. If I want to hear what old Rob thinks about something, I only care what he has to say about pockets, knapsacks, and things that you put things in and close with little buttons. That's all I care about his knowledge on. I think Rob should go do some anatomy classes first and foremost. Learn how to draw chest. Learn how to draw feet. Okay, like Will Smith to Chris Rock at the Oscars. I want to smack him and say, "Keep Motu's name out your mouth." Okay. I really don't care what Rob thinks. I will be honest with you. I think he's maybe been partially responsible for creating a couple cool characters. He's been part of cool things, but all he does is hate on things. I think, he needs glasses or something to see better. I don't know what it is with this dude and why he's got to be the way he is, but no, I don't care. And I'll be honest with you. I fully and wholeheartedly agree, Mike. If you get a Ragnarok or a Guardians level sort of action comedy where it's just this really good mix, I'd be really stoked on that. I would be shocked at this point, based on what we have seen, if this was a quote unquote like comedy, over the top comedy. Everything that we've seen thus far feels like it's more grounded than what is being described here. So yeah, I'll worry about, getting some thoughts on pockets and stuff from Rob, but outside of that, I'm going to pass it to Jay.
He stole my thunder, man. Like, seriously, I was going to talk about pockets too. But I think I'll talk about guns. Guns. Like, freaking RoboCop, man. Guns. Like, seriously, that we're talking literally about Rob Leifeld. Look, Rob's got his fans, and they will defend him to the nth degree. But you know what? Like, seriously, He's made the most infamous illustrations for popular pop culture characters in the world. I mean, I hope to, oh my god, he should have drawn Bane. I think if he drew Bane, I think the world would be fine because Bane's head's so small anyway. Anyway, let's just keep going, okay? Look, I don't know what he was talking about. He might have I'm hoping he's talking about Voltron because Voltron is the secret that has never been revealed. It is the sleeper movie of the decade. Like, seriously, there's no information about Voltron whatsoever. We don't even know what the cast's names are at this point still, right? Like, we're still guessing as to what's actually happening with Voltron.
They announced the cast and Henry Cavill.
No, I know they announced the cast, but I mean, like, so who's who? Like, who's Keith? Who's you know what I mean? We don't know who's playing who. They still haven't really given us a full roster, right? So we know we know cast, but a lot of people is like, okay, so is Henry Cavill Keith or is he Shiho? Shiro. Who is he, right? But anyway, let's get back to what is more topical right now. If he is talking about Master Universe, really, does he even know Master Universe? Like, honestly, he knows. I think he knows DC. I think he knows Marvel, kinda, because he doesn't know how to draw them. But the likelihood of him actually talking about this, and how the hell did he get a script? Like, who would give Rob Liefeld a script? Honestly, his opinion is what? Seriously, he literally is looking for relevance because his action figure toy line is trying to get it off the ground. Okay. And it's not really picking up as much steam as he would like. Now, mind you, I do believe it actually did relatively well, as far as I know. But again, those are Liefeld diehards are Liefeld diehards. No, but being less, I'm not being very gracious. But in truth, all jokes aside, who knows what movie he's talking about? Who cares? Is he the aficionado on comedic action movies? I don't know. I probably don't think so. But at the end of the day, we are just ranked with speculations, leaks coming out everywhere. They're not freaking leaks, guys. They're literally studio shots. They were invited onto the set. You know what I mean? Like, I love these really high definition leaks. Like, leaks that I expect are like from like 20, 50, 6 feet away, blurry as hell. You know what I mean? Those are what I expect as leaks. Mattel's being very, very careful with this, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that they're really trying their best to figure, the way this is going to run. If there was a screening, it's really early. Like, it would have been a screening for like principal photography, rough cut. You know what I mean? It probably wouldn't have any completed CGI. Probably wouldn't have anything. But a screening this early would actually be a really good idea. I think that, depending on test screens, you have an opportunity, and it would suck because you have to spend more money, but you have an opportunity to change certain things. But I doubt that. I think that from early, the CinemaCon reactions were great, right? And not that that's a barometer for anything, but it does give you at least a little bit of hope for what everyone who actually saw it said. These costumes look on point, the casting looks right, things are moving in the right direction. And one dude who just happens to have a little bit of notoriety says that, you know what, they really they're at odds with their fan base. Yeah, they're at odds with, keep it up, keep Earth away. Like, just cut Earth out completely. I think we'll be fine. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. But I think we should just all sit back, wait, and see the first trailer. I think the first trailer is telling, very much so. And at the end of the day, Shane, whoever put that freaking trailer for I Need a Hero together, let's get that person back to make a trailer for Master Universe, the movie, because I think every Master Universe fan will climb on board, no questions asked. I think that would really do it. Absolute justice. AJ, well, take it home, man.
Yeah. Look, guys, usually, like, I can admit it, I can be a chatterbox, but I really don't have much to say about this topic. Just some random thoughts. It looked like Rob had started a podcast now, or a video cast, I guess. Maybe he's had a podcast for a while. And in Rob's actual podcast, he spelled his name Rob Lie, L-I-E, Filled, F-I-L-L-E-D, on his thumbnail. And I guess that's supposed to be meta or supposed to be ironic or supposed to be look, I don't know. First, I want to caveat the same thing Mike did and Jay did, that he might not be talking about Masters of the Universe here. When I first approached this article, I started looking at all the movies coming out in 2006 because it was one of the 2026, and it was one of the caveats, and the only other one I could find, Voltron, which is not, by the way, everyone, if you don't know already, it's not going to be a theatrical release, Voltron. So would there be test screenings for an Amazon film? Because it's just going to be direct to streaming. That's already been announced. So I don't know. But is there a good chance he's talking about Masters of the Universe? Yeah, because I searched his X feed, and he's never mentioned Voltron once, but he has mentioned Masters of the Universe time to time. He's also compared his son to Prince Adam, to raising Prince Adam. And if you look at a photo of his son is cut. I mean, he honestly could play Prince Adam or He-Man. I have a photo of him on He-Mania.com in the article. I mean, he looks terrific. He looks spitting image. So okay.
Is his chest bigger than is his chest 3 times the size of a head? Like, did he make Captain America? Like, I'm curious. I really need to know. I'm absolutely curious.
His child looks great. But you know what? I think someone mentioned in one of the comments, but it rang true to me, but it kind of felt the same way, that he lost me when he said a good comedy. Because the one thing I could be sure of is this is not a comedy. Okay. I know what comedies are. And I've seen the criticisms, and Rob might have already made some of the criticisms toward the MCU, that those aren't real superhero films. Those Marvel films are comedies. But we watch them and we know there's action as well. There's serious moments, and there's moments to laugh. Geez, anytime Robert Downey Jr. is in a movie, we're laughing and sometimes we're crying, right? And Guardians of the Galaxy is a wonderful balance, at one moment, Star-Lord's doing a dance off, and next thing I'm tearing up because, Rocket Raccoon is crying over the remnants of Groot because he died sacrificing himself. So they do this wonderful balance. And I've heard through the grapevine that this is the tone they're going for, the Guardians of the Galaxy, Thor Ragnarok. And that's fine by my book. It's interesting. We have a lot of iterations in Masters of the Universe, right? And so it's really hard when he says it's at direct odds with the fan base. It's really hard to make that statement because there's been so many incarnations, so many different things. 2000X is very serious. Filmation is very campy. There's so many different variations of Masters of the Universe that it's hard to pinpoint anything at direct odds with his fan base. Now, if he actually tweeted, I read the script, that's what he said. And instead of saying the base wants a straightforward version, not a comedy, he said the base doesn't want anything on Earth. Then, you know what? He's got a point, because I've seen the reaction and the majority have rallied against it. I think Earth might work great for this script because of Queen Marlena. The fact that she came from Earth, this can work, where other shows, or the first Masters of the Universe film, there was no Earth connection, But regardless, then I see his point, and definitely I could say it's direct odds with his fan base. But when he says it's a comedy, come on. We've seen Nicholas Galitzine do that sword training, okay? This is not all comedy. There's going to be action, there's going to be excitement, and I think there's going to be some sad moments too. So, and let's remember what this is. We need a little comedy. Jesus, snout spout, fisto, mecha neck, stinkor. Come on. We're going to go through this straightforward. Come on. There needs to be a little tongue in cheek. Just like Guardians of the Galaxy, just like Thor Ragnarok, it doesn't have to be across the board, but I think it really applies to the nature of this film because it is quite ridiculous when you think about it. Masters of the Universe, loving ridiculous. I mean, I love it. I love it. It's like everything but the kitchen sink, that toy line, right? And somehow it works. Yep. Lightning in the bottle. So he might mean well. He might be a huge fan. If he's talking about Masters of the Universe, he might really mean well. And there's a certain type of Motu he wants to see based on the mini comics or based on 2000X. And he really feels strongly about it. But he's got to know, he's got to have a little insight, a little perspective that he can't speak for everybody. That's a little early in the process, So, so that's what I feel about that.
I did not know that this was going to turn into a Rob Liefeld roasting.
He doesn't.
I didn't roast him.
He doesn't need more roasting. The man roasts himself. We don't even need to do that. We're just.
I mean, we were gonna slap him. We're sending him back to art school. His chest is 3 times the size of his head.
These are. That's not roasting.
AJ, you should just finish this topic with a picture of Rob and just setting on fire or something.
I'm waiting for him to draw a Master Universe because I would be on the floor.
Motu out.
For the record, I stayed neutral. I tried to behave.
I was trying to. I mean, I don't know.
I'll probably get the most
name in the business that, and yeah, I would say, I'm not like a Rob Liefeld diehard like Mega J was saying for some of these people, but I enjoy like his work. I don't have that much of a. Yeah, he can't draw feet. I know, but still, it's not like it's terrible.
They're like little shovels. They're just tiny little shovels. Spades. He uses spades for feet.
All right. On that note, I think
take us home, AJ. Take us home.
We got to pick. Yeah, we got to take us home, and that's Shane.
Topic number 4: fan casting. We know the new upcoming Motu movie from Amazon MGM Studios and Mattel Films has already been cast, filmed, and is in the can, but we thought it might be fun to quickly present a what-if fan casting scenario. If you could go back in time and be the casting director on the new Motu movie and cast any actor, actresses in any roles of your headlining characters, who would you cast as your He-Man? Who would you cast as your Skeletor? And cast one more character of your choice. And I am going to start with Mr. Mega J.
Wow. Frank Langella, I want back as Skeletor. I think we need Frank Langella. If I'm plucking him back from the past for 6 months, I'm going to put him back where he belongs afterwards. Because we need to see him back in DS9. We need to see him back in so many different wonderful roles that he's played over the years. But his performance as Skeletor is just inspired. I mean, he's deliciously evil in that role, and you just cannot replicate it. I love Alan Oppenheimer. I love what Dobson has done. I love a lot of the Skeletors from the past and the present. I love them all, but there's something special about Frank Langella's performance, and he even had some input in the original movie. So and his scenes chew up the carpet. You know what I mean? Like he's literally chewing up the scenery for his sequences, along with Meg Foster. Having said that, I would not choose Meg Foster this time around. She was a glorious Evelyn. But I think that I think Alison Brie is actually a very good choice for Evelyn. I think that actually is a very good choice, honestly. So I don't think I'd change that. He-Man, for frank's sake, if he could act so much better, it would definitely be Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't care. He is He-Man. Okay, he freaking is He-Man, and I'm talking about Conan the Destroyer. Freaking he would that. When I saw that, I was like, "That's He-Man." Just get him, pay him the money, which is impossible because it's a kids' film. And of course, he got pissed and wanted. I want the royalties of all the He-Man figures. That is me on screen, right? So unfortunately, that didn't come to pass. But I would love to see Arnold Schwarzenegger as He-Man.
At his prime.
As I said, Conan the Destroyer. It would have to be the Conan the Destroyer, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I got to He-Man. That would be so great. Get to the chopper. Get to the Wind Raider. Come on.
On that note, you pass it into Jay.
Cringer. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, for Cringer, I would definitely fan cast Cringer as who would be a good Cringer? I don't know his name, but it's the guy who played opposite Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool. What's that guy's name? He was also in Ready Player One. The guy who actually
T.J. Miller.
Is that him? Yeah, he would be a great Cringer, man. He'd be a great Cringer. I want an ironic Cringer. He's like scared, but at the same, like, because that's what he played in Deadpool. He did like he stayed away from the violence, but he would encourage people to be violent. You know what I mean? I want a Cringer who like encourages He-Man to go punch somebody in the face. That would be the greatest thing ever. You know, kind of like a cowl type of idea. I'm gonna take it over to Mike because I'm curious to see what kind of fan casting he would have.
Well, for some reason, I didn't know we could go back in time to people's primes and stuff. I was thinking,
it literally says that in the description. It says if you
does it? I totally read that wrong. I'm so sorry. Okay.
Well, I meant like 6 months.
No.
Like,
If you're going to
like actually play in the movie next year,
man.
If you could go back in time as the casting director of this
Yes.
movie,
Yes.
That's back in time. It says back in time. I'm going all the way back. You guys You guys don't have enough imagination.
John Wayne as
You're
He-Man.
the brain.
right?
I got to be He-Man.
What do you got, Mike?
So let me bring up, because I ended up bringing up people. Okay. I don't really know this actor too well. He's kind of unknown, but he's got the He-Man look, I feel. Charlie Hunnam. Are we familiar with him? Sons of Anarchy. He's considered like the next Heath Ledger kind of guy. Mm-hmm. If he bulked up,
was he the main character? Is that who that was? Or
yeah, he is.
Okay, so he was the guy who was supposed to be in 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He was originally supposed to be the 50 Shades, and he was in Pacific Rim.
Yes, he was bulked up for a while.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like he could have done a great job as a He-Man. Not like I said, like if we would have put in.
He's 45 now. You have to go back in time like Jay did.
Oh, he's my age? Damn. Who's the main? Oh my gosh. Now I'm like blanking out on his name. But I didn't want a big name in there as He-Man. I feel like going Nicholas was the better route, because he's now going to be just seen as He-Man and not like, oh, this is, The Rock as He-Man. Another one, I had to look up his name because I only know him from Doctor Strange and Hannibal. He was the bad guy.
Oh,
Mads Mikkelsen as my Skeletor.
I
feel like he'd make a really cool Skeletor. He's got the look. He's got the kind of the tone.
He's got the gravitas.
Yes.
He's got to lose that accent, though. I don't know. Like, you know what?
Well, yeah, we'd have to get him some speech.
Screw it.
Some speech work, like they did with Dolph back.
He-Man can sound like Arnold, but Mads needs speech therapy.
You're cute. You don't have enough imagination, Jay.
Keep it, man. I say keep it. It's cool. I like it.
Okay, and then my wild card, literally Andy Serkis as either Merman or Beastman. Obviously CGI, but him doing the motion capture and the voice.
Yeah, he could, like, he was Caesar, so he could totally do a Beastman. 100% he could do Beastman. I can see him as a Beastman. That would be great.
AJ, let's go over to you.
All right. First, Jack Black is He-Man. No, I'm kidding. Be honest with
chicken jockey.
Be honest with you guys. I'm going to be really lame here. I gave it a lot of thought, and I'd cast Nicholas Galitzine. I swear I would cast Nicholas Galitzine. He's been the spitting image when he was on the street. He was the spitting image of the Filmation Prince Adam to me, where I literally could not find a better choice for my dream, a Filmation representation of Prince Adam. I mean, we'll see him as He-Man. We'll see how big his muscles are, the camera tricks and everything else, how he looks. But I won't go past Nicholas. He'd be my fan casting right now. How crazy. The people are going to boo me for that. But, and in regards to Skeletor, I was bouncing around. I was thinking like William Dafoe and stuff. And this is going to be controversial. And I started watching Jared Leto videos as the Joker, which I don't like him as the Joker, but he does this like higher pitch kind of twinge and stuff. And I started closing my eyes and I was looking at his body movements, and I'm like, did Travis Knight look at these videos, close his eyes, and say, "This is my like Filmation kind of Skeletor"? With his body gestures and the higher voice, because we're not doing Frank Langella, I am Skeletor, come here, Evil Lyn, This looks like more with the sword, and the way Prince Adam looks more like a Filmation representation of He-Man and Masters of the Universe. So then I put like William Dafoe to the side, and I'm like, maybe Jared Leto should still be my guy, which is crazy to say Leto. It's crazy.
You
I
can't
know.
cast the cast.
I know. Well, I have for my wild card. It's different, and I've mentioned it before.
Before you mention your, I don't think AJ actually did the assignment. I think
I said William Dafoe. And I agree with the Mike. Christopher Reeve, he was a nobody, and he became Superman. With same thing with Nicholas Galitzine. No one knows him really. He's not really world famous, and he's gonna be Prince Adam. He's gonna be He-Man. So, but my wild card, and I've said this before, I love Alison Brie, love her, but I just having a trouble seeing her as Evil Lyn. I want Lena Headey. She has gray hair, right, in the cartoon. She's a little older woman, and her voice is perfect. We've already seen that in Masters of the Universe Revolution, and we've seen her perfect on Game of Thrones. I think she would be a perfect Evil Lyn. I'm really worried about Alison Brie as this character. Looking too cutesy, looks cute like the neighbor next door, and I love her to death, and it just feels like, out of every character, this feels like the most miscast to me. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope I go to the theater and say, AJ, you were so wrong. So fingers crossed on that. But that's my wild card. Shane, close this up.
All right. So first of all, Mike, Charlie Hunnam is my girlfriend's choice. I asked her, not what's his.
Oh, no way. That's awesome.
My girlfriend's choice. Also, AJ, there's a movie with Alison Brie and Dave Franco called Together. If you haven't seen that.
I haven't, but I saw
check it out. I think it's. I had similar feelings about her for Evil Lyn, and I think it helps to see the movie. Anyways, all right. So I cheated a little. So for He-Man, I have an either or because I couldn't settle on one. Also, there is a Mad Max Fury Road theme to mine. It just ended up that way. So for He-Man, I would either cast Nathan Jones. He is the humongous dude in Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah, he was in Troy.
He was in Troy, right? And in Troy specifically, the body that he has in Troy specifically, I'm like, God, that's He-Man right there.
Yeah, he'd have to go back to the gym though, because like
he would. Now
Road,
you've got some ancient guys that you've cast, all right?
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying he's got to go back to the gym. I didn't say he could do it.
You can't go back in time, Shane.
That's all I'm saying.
Or Alan Ritchson. I think a lot of people fan cast him because I just think it is so clear that he should be playing He-Man. But neither here nor there. Skeletor. So I've got two options for Skeletor. If I want a more beefy, evil Skeletor, I'm thinking Tom Hardy. And if I want a more skinny, sort of like sorcerer, smart Skeletor, maybe an Austin Butler. I thought he was really good in Dune Part 2. He seemed evil as heck to me. I thought those would be some good ones. And then my wild card is the Sorceress, and I would cast Charlene Theron.
Ooh. I didn't see that one coming. Yeah.
Clever casting. Yeah.
That's a good one. I don't know about Bane for Skeletor.
I'm all right with it.
I don't know. I kind of like that. It would be extremely painful.
You just lived in the dark. I was born in it, molded by it. My face was ripped off in it. It was
You're bubbling boobs.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, guys, we're gonna wrap this up. Do we have anything to plug or tease before we go? Really quick.
I would love it if a convention showed up in like 2026. The universe.
We would love that too.
I would love that. I think it'd be great.
Maybe we could just will it.
I think we can will it into existence. We need some money. I mean, yeah. I would love it. I would love it if that. Absolutely love it.
And make sure you go on Mega J Retro's YouTube channel. Make sure you watch everything Powerhouse Animation for Shane. All his shows are great.
Yeah, we've got just announced Tomb Raider Season 2 coming out in December.
Yeah, I heard. That's great.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And Eternia and Royalty, he's on YouTube, and his main bread and butter is Instagram. So definitely go check him out.
If you love Motu, give me a follow.
Yep. And if you want to follow all the Motu news, go to He-Mania.com. So
previously for Eternia.com.
Previously for Eternia.com. Exactly. Well, that's it, everyone. We would like to thank you all for watching. I'm AJ.
I'm Mike.
I'm Jay.
And your old pal Shane.
And we're signing off.